welcome everybody. Thanks so much for joining today. We're gonna probably kick things off here in like a minute or so, let everybody else kind of fill in who might be running a little bit late. But yeah, thanks again for joining. You've got JP from our team here, as well as myself, John. We're gonna be running you through second quarter product update, going over some new releases, things for you guys to expect over the next few weeks, as well as teasing some new things that we're working on internally, and then doing some little updates on some of those features that we are rolling out. So I think to kind of kick things off, what we want to do is just do a brief, we do these pretty often, but a brief little survey. We service a lot of different customers, so I'd love to just hear from you all on the different industry types that you're in. I think you can only select one. I know some of you might cross over in different places, but if you get a quick second, I'd love to see some feedback. Looks like those are coming in, which is awesome.
All right.
We'll give that maybe another 5 or 10 seconds. And I think we can share the poll with everybody too. I don't know if
Everyone's been able to see live as these
cool.
results show up.
Oh, nice. Some
Attendees are
real-time
not
polling.
questions. Yes.
Yeah, looks like we're primarily corporate, which is awesome. Definitely the industry that we were started in. So, and then also great to see a lot of you sports customers, even some esports people, broadcasts, and some other as well. So it would be great to hear maybe what other industry you're in. If you can maybe share those with the chat as well, that'd be extremely helpful. Cool, awesome. Let's just kind of transitioning a little bit, talk through a little bit of the agenda. What I want to do is, for some of you maybe joining for the first time, just a really quick 30-second of kind of who we are, what we are over here at Shoflo, and kind of who we serve as far as the software company goes. So Shoflo is a live event production software, which is a platform across a variety of different industries. You guys just saw a handful: sports, corporate, esports, broadcasts, and those are kind of the primarily ones. If you have never checked us out before, Shoflo.tv, we've got a great overview of different features, industries, different things like that, case studies as well, if you want to learn about how other industries are using the software specifically. Definitely check that out. And if you have any questions at all at any point in time, really the quickest way to get some responses is just using our in-app chat support right here. Send us a question. We've got a great group of people over here that are more than happy to answer your questions that you might have. So kind of jumping in here, I want to first kick things off by firstly just saying thank you really to everybody who has been sending in photos, sharing good feedback, sending us really nice notes about how you're using the software well. Definitely continue doing that. We love to share those internally and then also externally. So if you post those on social, make sure you tag us at Shoflo or use hashtag Shoflo as well. It's a great way for us to see those and we can repost them. If they are more confidential stuff, send us an email, let us know they're more confidential, but we still would love to see how you guys are using the software in your own environments. And then kind of jumping in, we're going to do something a little different that we haven't done before, but is really just to share some of these customer photos and things like that from some really cool events that have been used through the last quarter and even the last couple weeks, and highlighting some of the features that we have been releasing. So the first one I'm going to show you is a little behind the scenes photo from an esports event, which is the PUBG Summit, and jump to that right here. This is a great shot from Sam Dean's, and you can kind of see here a lot of stuff going on, broadcast, and if you notice in the top right, they've got display view, which we'll explain a little bit more up in this output. This was a really awesome event. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to Google PUBG Global Summit. They did a really good job, so we definitely wanted to highlight that one. In addition to that, we have a unique event. Actually, I think it's one of the first rodeos that we know of that has used Shoflo. Thought it was really cool as well. This was a photo that was shared with us. As you can see, more of like a front of house shot with the standard Shoflo up right there. So another really awesome event in the AT&T Center San Antonio. Kind of moving forward a little bit too, we have a, can't disclose who this was, but this is a really awesome shot. Actually, one of the largest shots we've seen of Shoflo up. Definitely wanted to throw this one in today. As you can see, they had it outputted to a projector backstage. So a lot of staff members, a lot of crew could see and following along with the show color, as you can see there. Really cool shot. Definitely the largest screen that we've ever seen Shoflo on show site as well. And then a couple from a church, Nexus Church, which I'll show as well. This one is, again, a little front of house shot, as you can see. A couple different monitors, a couple different laptops and screens up there. And then the next shot is more of from the onstage shot. I think if I click the right one, sure I didn't click the other one. Okay, cool. So this is where it looks like they're running rehearsals. As you can see, they've got, somebody with it up there. But really the cool highlight here is they've got a couple of unique scenarios here. You can see they've got the full screen item runtime clock, keeping track of how long they're in certain elements. And then even using a prompter view and things like that for things like scripts or other formats for presenter notes and things like that. So really a cool different angle of seeing from the front of house to more of an onstage shot. So that's kind of it for just the customer highlights. Again, definitely send those if you guys got any sort of collection of them, send them our way. Tag us on social, anything like that would be awesome. And we'd love to highlight it on some future kind of product update webinars that we do as well. And I forgot to mention this before. If you have any questions, this is definitely a time where we want to make sure we have some time blocked at the end of this to talk through any questions that you have, either as existing customers, workflow related questions, feature questions, or even for new people interested in using the software, questions in that department as well. Send those in the chat. JP is going to be monitoring those, and we're going to queue up a few for the end. And if we have time, we'll just stick around and continue to answer those. If we want to be courteous of your time, but if we don't go too over, happy to stick around and help continue to answer those. If we don't get to them, we do a really good job of reviewing those after this and can send you follow-up notes, making sure all of your questions get answered.
But yeah, please send them in right now. I am monitoring this live, and if just to comment a little bit on something that Johnny was just covering, which was Sam Dean's and some of his esports broadcasts that he does. We're actually having a customer spotlight webinar on Sam Dean's and how he does that in the esports broadcast area. Yep. And that is in 2 weeks if anybody else is interested in that.
Yeah, definitely. We've kind of rolled out some new webinars, a little bit of a different structure. We're going to continue doing these product update webinars every quarter, but we're also going to be rolling out more, call them spotlight webinars, highlighting. We've already done a few, I think across sports, corporate, and then we've got the upcoming one is esports. So for those of you who might have marked esports, definitely be on the lookout for those and make sure to sign up and check it out. And we also have all of those recorded. If you search our learn page, which JP will throw in here in a little bit, if you search webinars, you can always watch any of our previous ones and recorded ones at a later point, or share them with your team and things like that. Cool. So it looks like we got some questions coming in, which is awesome. So let's jump into some of the feature highlights and really kind of what we're here for today. A couple updates. The first thing is display view, which you might have seen in one of those photos, the first photo I had shown, and I'm going to demo it for you today briefly. That is coming out of a trial experience. Appreciate all the feedback that everyone's had on sharing ways they like it, ways we can improve upon it. We're really confident behind the product, and so we're rolling that out of trial, so you won't see that trial banner at all anymore. And that is something that's included in everyone's license. So feel free to use that as you need. Continue to send us any feedback or use cases or successes that you've had as you've continued to kind of use it. So I'm just going to quickly show that actually as just a reminder for people if you aren't aware of where it is. Easiest way to access this is within the rundown or within your show. If you come up here in the top right, you're going to see this eye icon. By selecting that eye icon, you'll have a few different views you can kind of jump to. And for right here, we have at the very bottom, switch to display view. That's going to take the rundown into a larger view, as you can see right here. And really the idea here is to output this to a large monitor backstage, front of house, wherever. I think the best use cases for this are things like putting it in a presenter's lounge, next to a live shot. So presenters can see when they're coming up on stage next, or even outputting into your control room for multiple people to view this from a distance. Those of you in sports, your video wall or wherever where you've got a lot of your staff accessing. You can see JP, I'm following JP right now. Just jump me right down to that element that he's running. And you'll see we just increased the font size. So this is stuff that can be viewed from a larger distance. We got a local time of day going, which looks like might be on Eastern. And then we have the item runtime clock as well, which is counting down based on the 30-second duration that we have in there. So we've got a great article that walks you through how to use it all and all that in our learn page. So feel free to jump there if you want to kind of check it out for yourself, or feel free to try it if you need to. And then to get out of this, actually, quick note, you can make this full screen as well, which will override your browser, really just giving you optimum kind of viewing experience, which you can do. And as you can see right there, just eliminates all the other browser stuff, and then you can exit just by selecting that as well. And then to jump back out, hit the eye icon, and you can go back to any of your other views. I'm just jumping right back to our compact view. Cool. So that's kind of a little bit on that display view, exiting trial. We've also made some minor updates to our new PDF export. So this is probably one of our primary things that we're going to be talking about today. As some of you know, some of our early beta kind of customers or beta users, first, thanks so much for joining that group. We're going to mention how those of you who aren't in that can join it here in a bit. We've taken a lot of the feedback that you guys have been testing it out. And we're rolling that out later this week. So definitely be on the lookout for everybody, even if you're not in the beta program. You'll be seeing this happen on your account later on this week. But the two updates that we did to that are one, we added a timestamp. That was probably one of the first bits of feedback we got from people that have been kind of playing with it, is really a need for a timestamp on that PDF. And so definitely that'll be included in there. And then also your column order will match, your personal column order will match that output when you go to export. So if you have columns hidden or you've rearranged them in your specific view, that's going to be automatically generated when you go to create that PDF export. And then, so let's just kind of jump into this feature, because some of you might have seen us tease this last quarter. Other views might be the first time you're looking at it. So let's just run through all of it. The way that you access that new PDF export is you just click this download icon. So it's the same place all of your other exporting options have been. And you'll notice right here we have the different download options. These are all kind of existing ones that we've had before. But actually, am I added on this? I might need to jump into a different account. It doesn't look like I've been given access to this.
It's only for our customers, Johnny. You can't have it.
Is there any?
I can start broadcasting or sharing my screen, and I do. Yes.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and pass that over. Sorry about that. Let's transfer that over there.
So.
Okay, cool.
As Johnny was saying, it's going to be accessible here in the share or download menu on the top right. And we've made a few changes from what you saw earlier. You'll see a lot of those old single click to download options have been taken away, and we've consolidated the options to be what are the most commonly used ones. As you can see right at the top, we added what used to be PDF export beta. We took away the beta as we made it available for everyone, and it is now an early release. And I'll let Johnny take it from here. He explains the feature set.
Yeah, so PDF export, you'll see it right here. Once you select that, you'll notice this is really an entirely new kind of way to export. And so really excited to kind of run you through some things. The first benefit in this kind of new export option is you'll notice is something that we call presets. Presets allows you to save a kind of preset layout or a structure of all the different customized options that you have. And you can save that to quickly pull up that, that same version when it goes to export at a later point in time. So to do that, you just click select preset. You can create a new preset, give that a name, and then that's going to be saved for future reference as well. So if you want to create a preset for your A1, for a presenter, for anybody else, for your general crew, you can go there, create that preset, save it, and then go back into this at a later point in time, pull up that same view, and then quickly download that, that PDF. So really excited about that. Also, we've got just some other general document customizations, page orientation, portrait, landscape. We've also got some row size flexibility as well, comfortable, compact, really just squeezing or flexing those rows depending on the preference of that person. We've also added some more paper sizes in here as well. For a lot of you international customers have been asking this for a while, so really excited to get that in here for you. Letter legal, A4 as well as A5. And then general column visibility. This is just the ability to hide those columns by just toggling them on or off, which will then, as you'll see, just hide those right there. And you can see that happening right there on the right in real time. And then other additional options. We did add some more customization here. Team name, team logo, event name, event logo, as well as show name, and even the option to print in grayscale for maybe those without color printers on site or something like that. It will give you more of a visual of the differences between maybe the color coding that you've kind of put in place. So that's kind of that there. The other significant thing you'll notice is we have this edit and preview mode. This is really awesome because this allows you to pre-render that PDF right there in the browser, so you can actually see what the PDF will look like before downloading it. So that'll have everything like your timestamps, all the notes, everything like that. And you can even then see, which we'll get into now, is where maybe the page breaks falls and stuff like that. So really cool just being able to jump between your edit and your preview mode. And then the final thing here, and feel free if I miss something, JP, to jump in, but the final thing here is custom page breaks. Really excited for this one as well. Had a lot of you have been voicing this kind of feedback and need here for this, so excited to kind of show you through that. Easiest way to do that, just hover over the actual row that you'd like to place the page break in, or underneath maybe a title row or something like that. Then just simply select it, and you'll see we then change that to a little red icon from a green. That's just a signal that there's a page break now within that, after that line. And you can go in and set as many custom page breaks as you need, set them at their different points. And then from there, easiest way to preview that is go into preview mode, and then that's going to pre-render those now new page breaks that you've set up. So real easy to kind of customize and change those. And then to remove page breaks, you just go back to that, hover over it, click there, and you can access that, or you can remove those page breaks from that view. And you can also click on that remove custom page breaks button at the top, and that'll remove all of them if you're trying to reset it. Exactly. Is there anything else you can think of on this one?
No, I'd say you covered it pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So is that out? Stop broadcasting my location and show.
Yeah. And I need to share mine. I'll just follow it on yours. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So kind of jumping through to the next thing, we did do a little bit of polish around the show caller tracking, really just trying to make that process a little bit more seamless and easy. The most significant thing there is now when you're tracking a row, we pre-select that row. So that's going to be sure that it's always at that right point in time for you. So now as you advance to the next element, it's going to pull that selector with it. So you're already pre-selected right there on that element name. So just some minor tweaks, but really here just trying to help continue making that process and that workflow even easier in that feature. Awesome. Transitioning kind of into more of a teaser for you guys. Really excited for this. As far as just helping making this document and making working in Shoflo even more collaborative and helpful. Because there's a lot of people that maybe jump in, edit this at different points in time. So this is a really cool one. Just to kind of see it right here, you'll notice in the bottom, and you might have been seeing this throughout the whole presentation here, but we've got new icons at the bottom, and you'll notice that these are actually, I'm just gonna hide your, can I hide your thing? Okay, maybe not. Here, but just try to bring it up a little bit more. You'll notice at the very bottom, we just have each user, or each collaborator that is active in this show is now portrayed at the bottom. You'll notice we bring in their little profile photo, and as well as some color coding of just who that person is. If you hover over their photo, you'll see their name, even see if they're editing, and just see that these are the people that are active at this point in time. So even if you have other collaborators that might have access, they're only going to show up here if they're in the show at this point in time. You'll also notice little line will show up underneath that profile photo. That's a signal that they're actually editing a cell. And if I can locate one, looks like Croy might be highlighted on one. If they're actually editing it too, we'll place a little back shadow on that cell. Actually, looks like it was me. And so that's just a signal that they're working in that cell, which is pretty awesome. Just to more as you guys are working on it, whether it's remote, whether it's around a conference table, just being able to see where all that data is coming in and out of, and who's in that show at a specific point in time. This is definitely something that's very early on. We're just now testing it internally ourselves, but we are excited to roll this out across our private beta program. And so be on the lookout for those of you that are in that program. And then, as always, continue to send us thoughts, feedback, ways we can improve upon this, as we want to really build upon it and make it even easier for you guys and more helpful across your different shows.
Yeah, and in order to get this yourselves, send us an email at feedback@shoflo.tv and request being added to this private beta. We very much want as many people in here as possible testing it out and sharing their feedback with us. And one of the best ways to do that, share feedback on not just this upcoming feature, the teased, but also the new dashboard, will be the usability sessions.
Yeah, awesome. So a lot of you actually have started joining us on these usability calls. We're going to throw a link into this, which I might be able to just do since you're sharing your let's see. Let me jump over. I think I can do chat, drop this in. So this link right here will allow you to sign up for usability session. These are really great. They're a great way to not only give us one-on-one feedback of kind of how you're using the software, also gives us a really good chance to demo some of the new things that we're working on. One of those right now is a new homepage design. Really excited for this. I think it's going to make jumping in and out of shows, creating new shows, leveraging templates, different things like that a lot faster. So those usability calls can be a really great way for us to demo what we've already been working on, get some feedback, share that, and help us continue to improve upon it. So if you have some time, definitely sign up for those. And we really, really appreciate you guys doing that. JP,
and a lot of the links that we've been sharing and or pages we've been talking about are all going to be accessible at learn.shoflo.tv. That includes, of course, all of our educational resources, which are articles with both videos, animations, and all sorts of other stuff in there explaining how to do certain things. But it's also where you'll find information such as our Shoflo updates. And here you'll see all of the recent updates with timestamps and things like that on when we've released all these latest features. There you will also find a link to registering for those user sessions that Johnny just mentioned, the usability sessions. And you'll find that, I believe, here in the FAQ section and in an article called Want to Help Guide the Direction of Our Product. Here again, you'll find that same link and you'll be able to sign up for a session with our development team. Additionally, we have the kin is something that I want to make sure everybody knows about, and that is one other way where each one of our users can share feedback and communicate a desire to see certain features or enhancements in our product. Not only can you share your ideas, but you can upvote other ideas that you've seen users have. So this is a great way for us to hear what you guys want and act on it.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a great way where we got a lot of the feedback on timestamps and other things like that as we roll out new products. So definitely, if you aren't already a user on that, definitely get involved and join the kind of conversation on those features.
Yes. And let me just share all of that with you guys, and I'll share that link there. All right, so we've also got some upcoming conferences that are worth mentioning. That's InfoComm and NACDA. Both of those are in June and in Orlando, and we'll be present at both. And there's another one in July called IDEA, and we will be at that as well. Where is IDEA, John?
IDEA's in San Diego. So InfoComm, definitely more of a corporate conference we'll be at. NACDA, for those of you in collegiate athletics. And then IDEA is more of a wider range of sports. If you're going to be planning on going those, let us know. We'll probably be sending out some booth information. And also, just if you guys go to any other conferences, we're always on the lookout for new ways we can get involved, new conferences we can join. So if you have one you think might be a good fit for us, we'd love to hear that feedback as well. Cool. You want to jump into some Q&A? How are we on time?
I think we're really good on time. Right. We can handle a majority of these questions that have come in. A few of the topics revolve around timing and tracking. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to jump out of this and maybe jump into this baseball example show. And the questions that are being asked are in regards to the timing that I want to talk about are flags. What are flags? What are they doing? Etc. A flag next to a start time denotes that value was manually set as opposed to being set by the system. And because the system wants to automatically calculate the values inside of the start time column, that's how we let you know that instead somebody set it manually. What it also does is it establishes the time flow for all subsequent elements. It does so except for in one scenario, the one where you see here, which is that it is being impacted by another flag. In this case, because we are using a reverse flag in the first inning here, this is the value that is actually dictating the flow of time. And if I hover over this flag, you will see a bunch of arrows pop up that show me the direction of that automatic time flow. If I remove this flag, you'll see that the system then calculates that value coming from the bottom. If I remove the reverse flag, then that means that all timing will come from the default value at the top. And if I change that default value to say make it 11 a.m., you'll notice that all subsequent elements are going to be recalculated based on the durations of the elements around it. Of course, we will take the duration of that element, add it to its start time to calculate the start time of the very next element. And this will continue on until it hits another flag, because of course each flag will break the time flow established by the previous flag.
Yeah, some good use cases of that. We're talking through sports right here, showing it. You could do it for different timeout breaks, different things like that. Timeouts being more of like a block time of 2-minute breaks and things like that. You can also use it for start times for corporate. That could mean if there's a hard start at a certain point, lunch break, something like that, or if it's a live broadcast, maybe there's a hard kickoff or something like that. It's just a way to put a new kind of flag in the sand of calculate time everywhere from here. You can definitely get really technical with it. We've created in a way where you can use it in a lot of different scenarios, which can also make it sometimes a little bit confusing. We've got really good articles and videos on timing and things like that. And so definitely encourage you to go that direction as well if you have any follow-up questions on that, or even send us a note in the in-app chat, and our success team happy to answer those questions as well.
And to elaborate more on the questions that came in regarding timing and show caller tracking, how those things are associated. One of them was the scenario where you are in a time block segment, such as this halftime, which we know is a 15 minutes allotted for this. And you want to make changes live to the durations. Well, if you were to just hit the space bar, which is the keyboard shortcut to advance to the next element, it would simply restart the duration or restart the IRT at whatever duration the next element has. However, if you want to make changes to the duration as you move to the next element, you can use a keyboard shortcut, which is the Option key and then space bar. That will advance the tracking bar. Hit Option space bar. Why is this? I am going to reset this.
Yeah, it's Option space bar. What that basically does, that will manually override that duration to what the actual runtime was, which will then, if you have that free flowing time, it'll update that accordingly. So it'll have the break times be changed, and the other projected start times will adjust as well.
I'm wondering if my screen share is capturing my space command and not letting me advance. But
could be
I can show you all of the keyboard shortcuts associated with show caller tracking by clicking on the question mark icon at the top right. And as you can see in this top right section of the modal are all the tracking shortcuts. Among them are the Option key and space bar, which would write the duration or update the duration of that element as you move to the next. We, of course, have regular spacebar and shift spacebar. And just to make one note on this over here is that the system will detect whether you're on a Windows device or a Mac device and update all these icons accordingly. So, and lastly is a reference to timestamps and the timestamp column. The timestamp column has a special feature called auto timestamp via tracking. Now this is already turned on, as you can see from the blue icon and from the fact that there's already some timestamps in this column. Whenever that feature is turned on, every time the show caller tracks a particular element, the system will automatically add a timestamp to this column. Whether or not that column is visible or not doesn't matter. As long as the feature is turned on, the system will add a timestamp there. And that means that after you've run your show, you can come back to this column and export a timestamp show report, which will of course let you know when every element ran and who called it, and of course share any notes associated with it and multiples of timestamps if there happen to be, if it happens to be an element that was called more than once.
Yep. Wanted to grab a couple quick questions in here too. We have maybe a few more minutes. Somebody asking about the red tracking button at the bottom. The red tracking icon is for if you're a show caller. You'll see that right there. If you click that, that just disables tracking. So that will remove anybody that's following. They just won't have that blue bar on their screen anymore. And then once you start back up, they'll get the blue bar again. So it's just a way to start and stop tracking. Also, somebody's asking about, why don't they have the new export, which is great. We're going to be rolling that out later this week. If you do want it, if you are on show and want it now, we do have some quick options to be able to add you to the beta. So send us an email. You can send it to, what was it? Feedback at Shoflo.tv. Just requesting that, and we can get it added. But everyone else should have that later on this week for everyone. Trying to see if there's any more. Looks like we got some people ask questions in the chat. Others asking the Q&A. Somebody asking about LDI. Right now, we're still up in the air on LDI. Went with it last year, and it was good. We're looking at a lot of different ones. If you got any good reasons on why we should go, I'd love to hear it, as we're always kind of trying to explore other places to do these conferences. Did you see anything else?
Well, I did want to answer this question regarding the timestamps. And yeah, every time you add another timestamp, it'll update the one on top. And in order to see all of them, you'd click here.
Yep. I see another one about, which is a really good question. If you have a long announcer script that stretches over 2 or 3 printed pages, this could also be if you just have a long script, presenter script or something like that. Will the system split that item over several pages, or do you have to create the item into several parts to fit on several printed pages? It's a really valid question. I think it just depends on what the production is or how you're using the system. If you're using our prompter view, then you'd definitely want to keep that into, you could either do either. I'd probably keep it in one. It really just depends on how long it is. If it's significantly long, you may consider breaking it up. If you're trying to get this on a printed script, which sounds like is primarily where your question is, you could, it just depends on how long that thing is. If it's stretching over 2, you may then, if it's stretching over 2 pages, I might consider breaking that up into 2 different elements or 3 elements, as it's just gonna overlap into the next page. So might have to kind of play with either. It really just depends on how long that is. But both of those options actually work pretty well. Yeah. See you at InfoComm. See you there. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I mean, thanks so much everybody for joining. If you have any other follow-up questions, definitely send those our way. If we missed any of these, definitely apologize. We'll follow up, make sure we get all the answers to everybody, and then send us any other additional questions you have. But thanks so much for joining. I had a good time. Sorry for the little mix up there. I got to get access from my boss, I guess, to the new version. But thanks so much for joining, guys. Look forward to catching up with you next quarter. And also, this is being recorded, so we will upload this and get an email follow-up with the recording to you. So feel free to share that, with your team or whoever. And then if you have time, make sure to check out the next webinar, which will be more of a spotlight, feature spotlight webinar on esports. So look forward to seeing you guys there, and also at any of these conferences coming up that you guys might be attending.
And just to answer that, one last question that came in: page breaks are only on the PDF export. Page breaks have not been added to any of the other existing exports.
Yes, those are only available. Yeah, good job to the PDF. So cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. See ya.